Born to be wild.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to Born to be Wild. Today we are doing the United in Stormwind set review from a wild perspective. I am here with Electric Sheep City, going through these Warlock cards. So let us start off with the first card. It is Bloodbound Imp. This is a 2-mana 2/5 demon with the text, whenever this attacks, deal 2 damage to your hero. Yeah, I fail to see why this card is good, and I don't really have anything good to say about it. This doesn't fit into Dark Lair. This doesn't do what I want it to do, because in Dark Lair, I want the damage done to me immediately, not when this attacks. And I don't want this in any Reno decks. I don't want to revive this with Blood Reaver Gul'dan. This card just sucks. It doesn't seem good in Zoo. I don't really know. I don't have anything really nice to say about it aside from I like the art, so I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, this is a standard card. This is questline support. They're trying to find ways to deal damage to their own hero on their turn, and we have way better ways of doing that. So yeah, it's a standard card.
I forgot about the questline because I think the questline's really bad. So I kind of discounted it. I feel a little bit bad for saying that I love Warlock, but the quest seemed kind of bad. Okay, well, I give this one a 1.
I also give Bloodbound Imp a 1.
All right, easy peasy. All right, moving right along. Oops. Next one up is called Demonic Assault. This is a 4-mana Fel spell. It says deal 3 damage, summon 2 1/3 Voidwalkers with taunt. Yeah, this is interesting. It feels like an anti-aggro tool. 4-mana deal 3. It could be to a minion. It could be face. Summon 2 1/3 Voidwalkers. Okay, this thing though is I don't want those. I really don't. They pollute your res pool. If we're playing any sort of wild Warlock deck, period, that's non Dark Lair. Of course we're not running this in Dark Lair. But the mana cost is, I don't know. This seems really kind of meh to me.
Do you want me to read the entirety of my notes about this card?
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
There's better ways to deal 3 damage, There's a lot better ways to deal 3 damage. And the anti-aggro piece of the 2 1/3s, it's cute, but I don't want 2 1/3s.
Yeah. It's too expensive. The payoff is kind of inconsequential. I don't even know if Standard wants to do this. Why?
The artwork and the card description go very well together, and
they do.
It's got Tamsin on it, and that's cool. So
she's kicking rad.
Hey, there's some good flavor. I score it as a 1. I don't want to play this in anything, frankly.
Same.
All right. Next up is Shady Bartender. This is a 5-mana 4/4 tradable. Battle cry, give your demons +2/+2. Yeah, I don't know. I looked at this and immediately thought this is a Battlegrounds card. Because I don't know. Okay, what do I play it in?
Warlock.
I don't play it. Yeah, right. I'm not gonna play it in Cube. I'm not gonna play it in Reno. We don't play this in Dark Lair. We don't play this.
Way too expensive for Zoo.
Yeah, we don't play this in in Cute Lock because there's not that many demons. Could I play it in discard? Maybe. But at 5 mana, I don't know. It just doesn't seem. I like the idea of it, but it feels expensive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Would I play it if it cost 4? Maybe. But even then, it's a build around. I'd have to specifically make Demon Zoo for it to work. And the only current decks that are remotely similar would be either the discard Warlock, which isn't even all demons, or the Cute Lock, which really is not all demons. And so I like the idea of it, but I don't see a place to play it. And it's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive, and you know, just like going to a bar with a shady bartender, pay too much, the mana, and then you don't want to drink what he makes you. So I'm not interested in the shady bartender.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I gave it a 1.
Same.
All right. I'm sorry to anybody who likes the card. All right. Next up is Touch of the Nath. This is a 1 mana shadow spell. It says deal 2 damage to a minion. If it dies, restore 4 health to your hero. I find this is kind of interesting. Like 1 mana deal 2. I wish it was just 2 straight up damage. The interesting place that I see this is if it dies, restore 4 health to your hero. So there's some potential synergy with like your flesh giants. The question is, do I play this in Dark Glare to like change my health to play the giant easier? Like I can already play the giant really easy.
And it makes Molten Giant cost more.
It does. So there's some anti-synergy. If it was 1 mana deal 2 to anything, and if it killed a minion, restore 4 health, it might even then not be that great. Like, it's cool, but it's funky. Like, I really struggle with where am I going to stick this? Like, do I play this in Reno Lock? Like, maybe, but I kind of don't know. Like, what do you think?
So I know exactly where this goes. Questline Warlock in Standard. And we just don't use it in Wild. Like, of course, they designed for Standard. Everybody knows that. And this just isn't really strong enough for us to want to use it too.
Yeah. Yeah. The only, like, I could see it maybe in Reno, maybe.
Yeah,
but that deck is really tight though, and so. But the cards kind of come and go. I scored this as a 2 because I could see it fringe playable, but like, that's a struggle for me to do that because I really don't see it.
Yeah, I also scored it as a 2 because it is a decent control tool. Questline support, whether we see that in Wild or not, and healing in Warlock is always kind of at a premium, and here's a cheap way to do it if we're actually able to kill something with 2 damage. So seems solid, even if it doesn't have a home.
Yeah. Okay, next up is a weapon. This is called the Runed Mithril Rod. It's a 3 mana 0/2. After you draw 4 cards, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1 and lose 1 durability. All right, finally a card that I like. So drawing 4 cards is quite easy. It's not, you compare this to the Demon Hunter quest line, like it says in 1 turn. This is just straight up draw 4 cards. And Warlock already has, a lot of things that draw the cards. There's Backfire. There is Plot
Hero
Twist.
Power, Plot Twist.
Right. And then it reduces your entire hand by 1. So, like, it's relatively easy to get an Emperor tick, and then you get it twice. I struggle a little bit in where to put this, but the reduction aspect of it seems pretty strong. So, I don't think it's necessarily broken, but it seems pretty good. My only struggle is like, okay, where do I play it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think that if this cost 1 more or 1 less, you would totally plug this into an even lock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be fantastic.
Right?
Too bad it doesn't cost 2 or 4. Yeah.
It costs 3. Yeah. It's a super powerful card. It's a super powerful effect. Like you said, it's pretty easy to get to go off. whether you even have other cards to support it or not. You play this, you hero power. The next turn, you have a native draw and hero power, and boom, there's 3 of your 4 cards. Like easy peasy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and there's a
Um,
lot of draw, so
so much draw in Warlock. So on top of all of that, you only have to discount 3 things once in order to get immediate value and the kind of break even point, right?
mhm.
You're going to discount all of the cards in your hand twice. So I can see us like eventually ramming this rod in somewhere, but I don't know where we ram the rod in. So yeah. How do
Yeah,
you rate this
I give it a
card?
2. I give it a 2 because I think like it could be good somewhere sometime, but I'm not quite sure when or what. Like, if I want to do something goofy, like play Quest Warlock and Plot Twist, and like, great, there's cool synergy. But at the same time, the flip side of the argument is it's 3 mana do nothing, and like you get the payoff at some point, which is good, but at the same time, it's like, okay, now you're working from behind, and I've got some tempo loss, and I gain it all back and then some. But like, am I gonna die because I played this instead of playing a Void Caller or something like that?
Yeah, I gave Rune Mithril Rod a 3 just because the effect is really powerful
Mm-hmm.
and not too terribly hard to get it to proc. Um, Even if we don't know exactly what home it will go into, I think it will find one.
Yeah, probably. All right, cool. Next up is a spell. This is a 4 mana rare shadow spell called Dark Alley Pact that says summon a fiend with stats equal to your hand size. I assume the fiend is a demon.
It is.
So this is definitely even lock support. And I see like more often than not, it's going to be a 4 mana 6/6 or higher if we want to play that, but maybe not. I mean, top decking it might suck. But it could make a mountain giant pretty easy. Yeah, I could see that. I don't love the archetype of even lock. Like, we've seen it get a little bit better, but like the other archetypes seem stronger. That being said, like, it's kind of like in the middle for me. It's if you here's where I look at it. Like, if I draw this early game, I get it in the mulligan or something, and I play it on 4, and I've got a 4 mana 8/8. Like, that's cool. Though, like, couldn't you just play Mountain Giant? But but then the problem is, if I get this, like, if I top deck this late game and I have a small hand, like, then I'm paying 4 mana for a 2/2 or a 3/3 or something like that. So I could see it going either way. If I wanted to make an even lock, I probably would throw this in just to try it, and then may end up taking it out. But it seems worth it to maybe give it a shot. I feel like it's kind of fringe. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I would try this out and then probably cut it pretty quick if I was trying to make an even lock. The fiend itself, yes, is a demon, but it doesn't have taunt. And if it's, like you said, a 2/2 because I'm drawing it late game and just need to struggle to find any sort of board to contest, that's going to be terrible. Whereas if it's like a mountain giant, oh, well, at the very least, it's an 8 mana 8/8 instead of a 4 mana 2/2, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I really want to like this card because Handlock is a really cool and fun archetype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think that we're either a little too fast and then this isn't quite proactive enough, right? Like, it doesn't have taunt to stall. It doesn't have rush to contest with the board immediately. It doesn't have a life steal. It's just a demon with stats. And stats are good, especially in like standard, which is more mid range right now, but we kind of need something a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you want immediate impact on the board. And I agree. Yeah, yeah, this is great when you play it real early and terrible when you play it late, and it's probably not good enough. I've got it listed as a 2 because I think that it will see some fringe and we'll try it out, and who knows, it could be better than we expect, but I'm kind of doubt it.
Yeah. And I've kind of doubled down on the one for this one. I want it to be good
Mhm.
because hand lock and even lock are fun, but I don't think this is the way to get there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, sounds good. Moving right along, the next one up is a an epic spell called Dreaded Mount. 3 mana. It says give a minion +1/+1 when it dies. Summon an endless Dreadsteed. The Dreadsteed itself functionally is the same as our existing Dreadsteed, but it has new art. So it's called Tamsin's Dreadsteed. It's a 4 mana 1/1 with the Death Rattle at the end of the turn. Summon Tamsin's Dreadsteed. So it's, okay. The only place that I really see this potentially seeing play is like in Cute Lock or something where like, okay, I want to buff my minion and I want a minion on the board, but like 3 mana to give it +1/+1. Like, dude, that sucks. Like the old Dreadsteed was cool before they changed it to fix the broken interaction with Grim Patron. Like, okay. But even then, like, it's a 4 mana 1/1. And like, yes, it comes back every turn, but it's a 1/1. And like, it's not, it's cool. It's really cool, in fact. It's just not very good. And like, as a Warlock player, like, I kind of like really sad that it's not very good. And I could be totally missing something. So like, please, tell me if I am, but I just don't see it here.
I want you to be missing something, but if you are, I'm missing that thing as well. I mean, at the end of the day, Dreaded Mount is basically a 3 mana buff 1/1
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with the like possessed villager death rattle, but persistent death rattle, which isn't bad, but it's not particularly impactful. I wish that it was because I love Dreadsteed. Warlock is really fun. Our first co-op together was
Mm-hmm.
with Disco Lock, like,
Yeah.
but
If it was gonna be
unfortunately,
good, like the Dreadsteed needs to be like a 4/4 or something. Something
mhm.
better than a 1/1. Like, you want to make it good, it's got to be like, what is a 1/1 that just takes up space on my board? It's not really what I want. Now, there's some things like if I'm playing Cute Lock or something, yeah, destroy a minion and give something 5, +5/+5, or buff your whole board or whatever. Like, that's cute, but I don't
What
think
I
it's.
kind of like is as the kind of redesign, same mana cost. Give a minion +1/+1 when it dies. Summon an endless Dreadsteed, but instead of a minion, give your minions. So basically, you just give a whole lot of minions Dreadsteeds.
Yeah, I could
That's how
see.
I would redesign the card. And then we probably still wouldn't play it, but like we'd consider it.
Just wait until you board lock yourself with a bunch of 1/1s that like always come back no matter what.
Uh huh.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I give it a 1, unfortunately.
I did as well.
All right. Next up is finally a good card. This is called Entitled Customer. It's a 6 mana 3/2 battle cry. Deal damage equal to your hand size to all other minions. This to me seems like it fits pretty easily into like Reno Lock, just because you've always got a pretty good hand size, and this has got like an AOE effect when you play it, and like I like that. It seems pretty good. The cost is pretty high for the stats, but like the battle cry is also pretty good. So this could pretty easily be a 6 mana deal 8 to all minions, or deal 5 or 6 or whatever the number is. Like, okay, and if you top deck it and you got no other cards in your hand, like, it sucks. But realistically, in like a Reno Lock or something, you're going to. So this feels strong to me.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish that it was either a little cheaper or the stick was a little bigger that it's on. Because a 3/2 is kind of like well, I dealt with your board, and here's a little buddy to kind of like trade in a little bit, I guess. Um, that said,
Oh, the
super
body
powerful effect.
the body sucks. A 3/2
Yeah.
is terrible, terrible. Like it should be a 4/4 or something, but like the effect is good.
Yeah, the effect is incredible. And if it was a little cheaper, say if it was a 4 mana 3/2 with the same effect, again, super powerful.
Yeah.
As it is, it's just a little expensive. That said, super powerful effect. I can see a couple places, Reno Lock and Even Lock, that this
Mhm.
slots into, one of which is meta.
Yeah.
So,
I gave it a 4. It feels strong to me. I mean, we'll have to test it out and see, and maybe it, maybe it doesn't, but yeah, we'll see.
yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going with a 3, just because of the quibbles that I have with the
Sure, sure.
card
Oh
itself.
no, that's. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. Okay, next up we have the legendary quest line called the Demon Seed. So quest line takes 6 damage on your turns. Reward lifesteal. Deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. Next up is Establish the Link. Quest line takes 7 damage on your turns. Reward lifesteal. Deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. And then the third part, Complete the Ritual. Questline, take 8 damage on your turns. Reward Blightborn Tamsin. Blightborn Tamsin is a 5 mana 7/7 battle cry. For the rest of the game, damage you take on your turn damages your opponent instead. That is dope. The part that sucks is the last 3 cards. Right? Okay, so let's do some math real quick. What is 6
21.
plus 7 plus 8, 21 damage you have to take on your turn. So the only way I'm going to be able to play this is,
You're going to be rich.
well, something. I don't know. Like, I got to do a ton of damage to myself, and then I got to make sure I don't die. And, like, these little lifesteal rewards of, oh, cool, lifesteal 3. Yeah, lifesteal's 3 times 2. So I take 21, and I heal for 6.
So net of 15.
Yeah, that's rough. That's super rough. And if I'm playing like, I mean, okay, maybe I'm playing spellstones or something that can help me deal with that, or maybe I'm playing spirit shards or something that can help me deal with that. But like, that's pretty rough. And if I'm playing against like a more aggressive deck, Pirate Warrior, or some of the Shaman decks, some of the Rogue decks, Secret Mage, whatever, like, oh, please deal 21 damage to yourself. I will just finish the job. So, like, I'm pretty sad. The reward is super awesome. The reward is incredible. Like, hey, cool. You just don't take damage on your turn anymore. So, like, all right, let me mill myself. Let me play some Cold Light Oracles. Let me do, you know,
It.
yeah, whatever. And so that's fun, but like, I cannot see this being good at all. I do have a note here that says, like, hey, maybe I play this with, Niru Fireblade and self mill myself. Like, all right, cool. Let me just tap, 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 backfire, backfire, like, Kobold Librarian. Cool. Let me draw all my cards and deal all this damage. But like, what is the chance that you're actually going to survive this whole quest line? It seems pretty low to me. I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed because I love the idea. It just seems like pretty sucky.
Yeah. Warlock has so many ways of dealing damage to itself that completing the quest line won't be particularly difficult, but living through it, like you intimated, is the tricky part. There are some ways that we can, do that. Spellstone, the new 1 mana control tool, Touch of the Nathrazim, Reno, things like that. That make it possible, question mark. I agree that at the end of the day, if people are going to try and do this and are successful, then it's probably due more to mill than it is, playing a lot of proactive things. But also, of course, you want to play this on one and two flame imps on two. Boom, that completes the whole first the
Yeah.
whole first part. That'd be sick. Um, but flame imps then can trade on board. You don't have to, play zoo with them and go face. Warlock just has a ton of options for this. But being able to do that and live is the hard part. I don't know that that's ever going to be tenable, I guess is a good way to phrase that. This is definitely the one of those flashy things. Ooh, see if you can make this happen. And if people are enjoying doing it, whether they're winning or not, they'll keep on playing. And that's a really well designed bad card. And I think this is a really well designed bad card.
Yeah. 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 And I, Warlock, like, yeah, I struggle with this. I'll give it a shot, but I don't think it's going to be good. I scored it as a 2 because I feel like it's possible to pull off. Maybe it's probably a 1.
Yeah, I gave it a 2 as well, kind of like I did Command the Elements, because it's not good, but people are going to play it because it's fun. And the challenge and the reward is what people are after.
Well, so. I mean, so here's the other piece. Like, okay, so for the rest of the game, damage I take on my turn damages my opponent. Like, okay, cool, but like I'm at 8 health now, and yeah, let me like mill myself and then try to kill my opponent with it. But like, if I'm at 8 health and then it's my opponent's turn, like they're just gonna kill me. Like, if it said for the rest of the game, like your opponent can't take you can't take damage on your opponent's turn, it'd be like, oh, what are you gonna do about that? Like, what, you mill yourself to death or something? But like, okay, who cares? I mean, I almost feel like, all right, so once you complete this, now I have to keep milling myself. Otherwise, like, it changes my win con. And so even once I complete the quest, there's more that I need to do and somehow not die. So I just don't really see it. Anywho. All right, we've got one card left. And it's a big stinker. Sorry if you think it's good. Okay, so the last card is the class legendary. It's Anatheron. This is a 6 mana 8/6 demon that says costs 1 if your hand is full. Okay, so the question is, does this go in even lock? I've seen some theory crafts, and the answer is maybe. Like, you can try it, but that means you have to have 10 cards in your hand for this to cost 1. And like, I don't think that you want to do that. So more often than not, it's going to be a 6 mana 8/6, which is not very good. Like, I'd rather play a 4 mana 8/8. So I'm not a fan of this, which is really sad because from a lore perspective, we'll get into that next week. Like, this is a major character and this is super cool. Like, the potential to make this really awesome was there. It just is a big old stinker.
Oh,
in my opinion.
Yeah. Kind of like I've said for a few of these cards, if there was any immediate board impact, like, taunt or rush, then I think we'd be singing a different tune.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just stats. Period.
Yep. Nope. Yeah, I feel you. I gave it a 1. I think it's awful.
Yeah. I did too, and I felt bad about it because I wanted to like it.
Well, and like I love Warlock. I was so disappointed when Hyreek the Bat came out, and I was like, "Oh, that looks rad. What does it do? Oh, it's so terrible." And I had that
Hey,
same.
I've got a golden Hyreek.
Yeah, it reeks all right. I thought the same thing when I saw this card. Like, oh, that looks so cool. What does it do? Oh, if it reduced somehow, like, there's definitely potential, but like, yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the Warlocks. Oh, what did you score it?
Oh, I also went with one.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. Well, that is it for Warlock cards for us. We have Warrior to do, and then we'll get into the neutrals, and then we are done.